Tonight's true scary story is absolutely the most insane thing I've ever read out of all my stories. A girl gets dragged to actual hell, and this experience forever changed her life. Burn some freaking sage or something after this one because woo! Before we get started, I just want to remind you to subscribe to my YT and my IG. They are both in the link tree in my bio, where I post longer versions of stories, scarier stories, and the same stories. Also, if you want to send me your true scary story, my email is in my bio. It is kaisespooky@gmail.com. Okay, let's go on this ride. So today's submitter's name is Trixie, and in 2014, Trixie was going through a lot of emotional stress. She was going through a lot at this time, and she moved to a decent-sized place in Myrtle Creek, Oregon. So the property had a porch, and she would sit on the porch and then she would just listen to music and she would pray for hours. That was her thing. This was something that she would do to help her cope with what she was going through at the time. It was always so dark though, you could never see past the porch light. And one day at 3 a.m., she's doing her regular thing, she's sitting on the porch, but this night she didn't pray for some reason. For some reason, she was just going through too much, she had too much on her mind, and she just wasn't praying. She was occupied by other things. She said that she just felt uneasy and she felt like something was like watching her, and she kept hearing things like noises in front of her, but she couldn't see anything because it was so dark outside. She mentioned that she heard a noise that sounded like somebody was walking on ice. You could hear the crackling of the ice. It echoed in the air, and as she was trying to figure out what she was hearing, all of a sudden the darkness turned into this bright red light, almost like a hypnotic spiral, and then everything started to shift. It was like she got stuck into a portal and she got thrown into this room, and this room was hot like a furnace. It was red and orange in color, and then in the middle of the floor there was this dark pit. So she wasn't on her porch anymore, she was somewhere else. But in this pit there was a staircase, and it started from the side of the pit, spiraled up to the door. She could hear voices crying. She could hear moanings and screams like people were being tortured. She said she couldn't see anything in the pit clearly, only glimpses of like a hand or a flicker of an eye. She was terrified, so she runs up the stairs and she tries opening the door. But as soon as she opens the door, she's met with this old, tattered woman. She had this disfigured face and she yelled, "You cannot leave!" She said it in the most demonic voice, and then she slams the door. And as soon as she slams the door, Trixie goes flying backwards into the pit. She's now at the bottom of the pit where she can see demons approaching her from all around. They were laughing at her and pointing at her.
"We're never gonna leave. You belong to him now."
She then starts crying hysterically, and she tries running up the staircase again just to be met with the same woman, just for the woman to say to her,
"Your soul belongs to him."
and then the woman slams the door again, and then she ends up back where she was before in the bottom of the pit. She said this happened over and over again, and each time it happened, it was more aggressive, and the loud screams and the moaning of the people being tortured, she could hear that, and that was getting louder and louder. The demons were clawing at her.